How do Stoics deal with loneliness? Loneliness is a feeling of being alone, and it's something many people have felt for a long time. But recently, it seems like more and more people are experiencing it. There are a few reasons for this, like the lockdowns during the pandemic, spending a lot of time on social media, and not being able to see friends and family in person. We also live in a world where technology connects us with others, which is great, but it can't replace the feeling of talking to someone face to face. All of these things, along with some others, can make us feel really alone, and that can be tough. But the good news is, there are things we can do to feel less lonely and more at peace. Before we get into that, it's important to remember that if you're lonely, it might be because it's hard to find good people to spend time with. People who are kind, care about you, share your interests, and make an effort to be with you. We'll talk about ways to find those people too. We understand that establishing these connections can be more challenging for some individuals due to differences in personalities. However, the most effective way to address profound feelings of loneliness is to seek out your own carefully chosen group of people, not just anyone. This selective approach is crucial. The next best option is to develop the ability to feel at ease when alone. This varies in difficulty from person to person, and that's what we'll explore today. Remember, the one person you're constantly with is yourself. While some of us may find solace in our own company less appealing, it is not only achievable to reach a point where you feel comfortable in your own presence, but also essential for a resilient life. Being uncomfortable in your own company not only makes solitude challenging, but also leads to dependence on external distractions like phones, computers, or TVs. This isn't a healthy state to be in, as it can disrupt our peace of mind. This doesn't mean we're better off entirely isolated. As social beings, we still require companionship, friends, and a sense of community. However, learning to be content in our own company empowers us to better navigate the times when we are alone. Loneliness is more than just being alone. It's a pervasive sense of disconnection from those around you, often without a clear reason. Whether you're in a lively party or sitting silently in your own home, this feeling can sneak up on you, making you feel like an outsider peering into a world where everyone else belongs. It can permeate conversations and laughter, making you feel out of sync. This is a state of estrangement, a deep void that people and things struggle to fill. Loneliness is a universal experience. It affects everyone, regardless of age, nationality, or social status. CEOs and janitors, famous stars and devoted fans, elderly widows and teenage outcasts all share this feeling. Paradoxically, it's an isolating emotion that unites us. We all understand loneliness, and this shared understanding can create empathy among people. Given this insight, what steps can we take to address loneliness? The Stoics held that a fundamental virtue essential for a fulfilling life was wisdom, a skill comprised of two components. The first facet of wisdom involves perceiving the world objectively, setting aside biases, judgments, and preconceptions, and observing reality as it is, not as one wishes it to be. Socrates, for instance, defined wisdom as our capacity to recognize truth in things. To discern truth, we must eliminate anything that distorts it, these being the biases and judgments we mentioned. The second aspect is to apply this knowledge and make informed decisions based on the available information. In this context, the Stoic virtue of wisdom can assist in addressing loneliness. How? By engaging in self-reflection. In the spirit of this virtue, one must confront the reality of their identity, their character, and after honest self-assessment, whether they are content with what they discover. Are you satisfied with the person you find within yourself? And are you content in your own company? If not, being comfortable alone can be challenging. No one else can undertake this journey for you. You must introspect and uncover your own answers. Importantly, this is not an exercise in self-criticism or dwelling on past mistakes. Approach self-examination with honesty, compassion, and understanding. Ultimately, this is about self-improvement, not self-blame, guilt, or self-loathing. I frequently engage in this self-assessment, refraining from blaming others, making excuses, or dwelling on past regrets. I accept it as part of reality, recognizing that my past self may not have known better, and individuals are evolving beings. I aim to learn a better way so that my present and future self can progress. This process of self-reflection highlights an important aspect of our inner dialogue. If you can't be compassionate with yourself and are continually berating yourself for past actions or your identity, you may not enjoy your own company. You won't be a supportive companion for yourself and may experience emotions like guilt, remorse, frustration, self-pity, self-hatred, and more. If given the choice between spending time with someone who points fingers, blames, shouts, and dislikes you versus someone who encourages, uplifts, collaborates with you to find a better path, and forgives your efforts to change, who would you choose to be with? You must become that second person for yourself. The Stoics were a group of ancient philosophers known for their wise approach to life. They believed in a powerful idea, focusing on what we can control and accepting what we can't. This concept can help us navigate our own lives better. It teaches us that we have control over our thoughts and actions, but we can't control how other people behave. When we apply this Stoic principle to dealing with loneliness, it guides us to take responsibility for our feelings and actions in 3 important ways. Firstly, if we feel lonely because we struggle to enjoy our own company, it's up to us to change that. We are responsible for improving how we feel about ourselves and becoming comfortable with who we are when we're alone. This means working on self-acceptance and personal growth. Secondly, if our loneliness comes from finding it hard to make friends or connect with others, we need to take ownership of this too. The Stoics teach us to become the kind of person that others want to be around. This doesn't mean pretending to be someone we're not. Instead, it's about becoming a positive and supportive friend or partner. Lastly, we have the power to find the right group of people to connect with. Sometimes, our loneliness results from trying to fit into groups that don't share our values, interests, or goals. The Stoics encourage us to recognize this and seek out communities that align with who we are. A famous Stoic philosopher named Epictetus once said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself, which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own." This quote reminds us that we should focus on the choices we can make, even when many things in life are beyond our control. It emphasizes our responsibility for our own decisions and actions. In simpler terms, the Stoics teach us that we can't change the world or how other people behave, but we can change ourselves and how we react to the world. This philosophy can be a powerful tool in overcoming loneliness. Let's delve a bit deeper into each of the 3 ways we can take ownership of our loneliness. 1. Being comfortable alone. If you often feel lonely when you're by yourself, it's important to work on your self-esteem and self-worth. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but it does mean accepting yourself, flaws and all. Engage in activities you enjoy, learn new things, and practice self-care. When you become content with who you are, spending time alone can become a source of joy rather than loneliness. 2. Building meaningful connections. Loneliness can also stem from struggling to connect with others. To address this, strive to become someone people want to be around. Be a good listener, show empathy, and be a reliable friend. Authenticity is key here. Don't pretend to be someone you're not just to fit in. By being your true self and treating others with kindness, you'll attract genuine connections. 3. Finding the right community. Sometimes, loneliness arises from being in the wrong social circles. It's important to evaluate if the groups you're trying to fit into truly align with your values and interests. If not, don't be afraid to seek out new communities that resonate with who you are. This can lead to more fulfilling and meaningful relationships. If we learn to understand ourselves better and are honest about who we are, we can be kinder to ourselves and work on improving the things we're not happy with. This can help us feel more comfortable when we're alone, and it also makes us better friends to others, which helps us build stronger friendships. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more updates.